Time to pickle this beast. Why is it that movies and shows from our childhood seem to resonate and stick with us for the rest of our lives? Why can I watch the same episodes or movies for the thousandth time, and it is still just as great as it was back then? In this video, we take a break from characters and look into the broader aspects of a few movies from the 1990s that not only shaped my childhood, but shows the timeless aspect of films that were truly done for the love of the project and the audience, not for an agenda or reboot profit. This will show us why the saying "back in the good old days" really means something. Movies like The Sandlot, Cool Runnings, and Heavyweights are immortal in my eyes because they were done with something that films today try and replicate, but just cannot. They are missing that one trait we all cannot describe: charm. These writers and directors were not afraid of their own shadows, afraid to do what they do best, which is tell stories, unadorned, unpretentious, and leave a lasting impact on the audience like all good art does. We will look at a few quotes by some of our favorite characters in these movies that can exemplify why everything today feels saturated, agenda-heavy, and profiteering. Can we really learn from movies meant for children? The answer is yes, because a movie that has no age is immortal. It does not try to be funny with its one-liners. It does not try to make you tear up in its culmination endings, but it just does so naturally. And this, to me, is a lost and dying version of storytelling that I just do not see anymore. Don't get me wrong, there are still many recent films and shows that are great, but I just cannot remember the last time I laughed so hard that my abs hurt, like when Lars from Heavyweights said his name or exclaimed "body." I think many of you feel it, yeah? Or the last scene in Cool Runnings that even today makes me tear up when the team is carrying their broken sled across the finish line and Junior Bevel's hardened father shows pride for his son. These are moments I will always remember, and I am sure the authentic among us will feel the same. So I thought I would keep these things alive, just like we do for all novel things on this channel. So to quote Benjamin Franklin Rodriguez, "Sandlot, Sandlot, Sandlot." Let's get started. As a quintessential kid of the 1990s, Benny the Jet Rodriguez was who I wanted to be as I played ball in the neighborhood, leading my group of friends as Benny did. It seems that in today's world, we have more access to content than ever, and that should make more unbelievable moments for us. But I do not remember the last time I could remember wanting to watch a show or movie more than once. We have to start with a quote that I lived my life by as a kid in the neighborhood. "Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. Follow your heart, kid, and you'll never go wrong." This quote was spoken by a dreamlike image of Babe Ruth as he comes to Benny in his sleep the night before he pickles the beast. This quote is so apropos to my point. But what made movies like The Sandlot so legendary? It comes down to one word that movies just do not have nowadays, and that is charm. Simple charm, created by the symphony of phenomenal characters, amazing music, and an authentic feel, with no need for unnecessary frills. Even as an adult, watching this movie just brings back great memories, and if a piece of art can do that, then it will truly never die. In today's world, there is a reason they are always trying to reboot movies and shows from the 90s, because they simply cannot replicate that type of magic with an original idea, so the easiest way to profit is to rehash an existing success. This is not my harsh opinion, this is fact. The saturation of film and TV in the modern world, along with trying to head-shrink audiences with agendas and notions of race swapping beloved characters, is more than prevalent. I thought they might have gotten the picture when they started to lose so much money, but I continue to see the same things over and over, and just would hate to see another person's life's work masterpiece, like Star Wars, be ruined. I do not care what race the character is, what his or her sexuality is, only the studios seem to care, because viewers like me do not think about those things, and I have a simple solution to this. A person is not racist because they do not want to see a version of Superman Kal-El played by a different race. They simply want that character to be treated with respect for its place in history. A simple solution if you want to do this. Just be creative and think of a new idea or new character in the same vein. Something original, and go with your new version. But it seems that the original idea has flown out the window, and everything today is either a reboot to try and profit off a beloved franchise by ruining it, or turning someone else's hard work into aforementioned slop. We do not go to the movies or watch a show so that we can be indoctrinated. We go to lose ourselves, if just for a second, in another world, where we do not have to be pandered to on the sly. The Sandlot was a kid's movie, but there is a reason it is still enjoyed by adults today with their children. It's easy when you play with a bunch of rejects and a fat kid Rodriguez. This quote is that hilarious trash you would talk to your neighborhood rivals as they try to muscle in on your turf and challenge you in front of your boys, leading to a call to arms. We see this when Benny and his crew take on the prep team. They might have better gear and a real diamond, but the boys have got the great Hambino. He taunts every batter as they step to the plate. He says to one boy, "Is that your sister in left field naked? I think she's naked." I can't write this quote without laughing. It seems in kids' movies today you just would not be able to be this authentic. Though, we might be getting back to these times, but by being afraid of their own shadows, espousing a woke agenda in some cases, will lead to turning off any potential super fans whose minds just want something real. Our next movie is one of my favorites of all time. Of course, it's Heavyweights. I can still remember accidentally falling into this movie at a relative's house and laughing so hard I was dying. This movie centers around a group of fat kids who go to a fat summer camp to lose weight, and it is taken over by Ben Stiller's legendary character, Tony Perkins, a hyper-insecure, once fat kid who is now selling his own weight loss infomercial. It's a fat camp. Are you crazy? No way. I'm not going to camp with a bunch of fat loads. This is the exact reaction you would think a kid would have after being told by his parents he would not be able to do nothing all summer. Instead, he has to go lose weight with other fat kids. Simply realistic. It seems this quote would not make the cut in a Disney movie today because of two things. Either the makers are too sensitive about such topics, or the viewer has gotten too in their feelings. But personally, I believe it is the former. There is not enough room to cover all the hilarious quotes from this movie, because the Perky system does not work with cheaters like Gerald Garner. How can I sell an infomercial about fat kids who can't keep their piggy little snouts shut? Who's gonna buy that, huh? This speaks for itself as being just savage, but that's what Disney used to bring back in the day before they became afraid of their own shadows. The great thing about this is we can all picture it happening at a fat camp. It makes sense, but it is so ridiculous that it might be possible. I felt like I could have been Jerry Garner, trying to sneak Oreos into a fat camp, but having my stash found. Oh, look at deli meat. To have a Disney movie that deals with adult themes such as dieting, starvation, having a bunch of fat kids chasing a cow for meat, and having a maniacal owner say, liposuction, option, or obsession. Simply brilliant and unreal looking at where we are today, where it's woke or blatantly unwoke. That authentic middle ground, where people just write what they feel, may be on its way back slowly but surely. This type of childlike slapstick humor is what made movies during this era, even with their family themes and moral lessons intertwined, still had a very gritty, authentic feel of just not caring what anyone thought. They were going to tell their story no matter what. I just had to include the movie Cool Runnings on this list because I can guarantee if they made a movie like this today, something in this movie would be called racist, whether it be the accents or otherwise. Even though it is simply an honest, amazing portrayal, not trying to attach superfluous labels and agendas. Even though a few liberties were taken with the portrayal of the real Jamaican bobsled team in the 1988 Winter Olympics, you know something? No one cared, period. It had such heart and such passion, entrenched with comedic wit that Disney was known for back then. The problem is either people got too sensitive or Disney started turning on their audience and forgetting that movies and music are made for the audience and the fans make you. So you do not blame them for their honest opinions because they wondered what happened to the movies they once loved. When was the last time you shed a real tear organically for a movie like you did when you watched Braveheart, or the last scene in The Man in the Iron Mask? I cannot recall, to be honest. I am not making this to judge or hate on anyone's work or films of recent times, but I think we can agree as to what made these movies so great is that people did not care about the superficial. They only cared about the deep authenticity of the vision at hand. For a Disney movie to have a scene where the team is discussing what to name their sled and Junior says, "What about Tallulah?" Sanka replies, "Tallulah? Sounds like a $2 hooker. Where you come up with that?" "It's my mother's name." "Are you kidding me?" Just men talking shit to each other with camaraderie. It is not the vulgar nature of the line itself. It is doing what the scene calls for. That is the point. The line I think so many of us went around saying to ourselves to try and pump ourselves up was, "I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who don't take no crap off of nobody." These movies had a way of pumping you up while tearing you down, only to build you back up with more of yourself. It was the ability to put ourselves in the shoes of characters like Rodriguez, Bannock, or even for the more portly of us, Jerry Garner, that made films like this timeless. I decided to do this video because I wanted to take a break from examining the impact a single character's words have on us, and look at a broader aspect of how film in its heyday totally shaped a generation. I wanted to, but just could not get into Mrs. Doubtfire, a movie that if made today, well, you already know, that dude looks like a lady. I am not saying movies and shows today do not hit that spot, because there are still some that move us in the same way. But why is it that movies back then stuck with us enough for people like me to want to discuss their impact with the like-minded? I think it is because there will always be that level of nostalgia we have for things from our childhood that is obvious, but I truly think that movies during the 90s were on their own plane of existence. I say this, not just because I was a kid of this era. I say this because I am a man of facts. If these movies did not have such an impact, then they would not be trying to remake and reboot everything under the sun. From the Ninja Turtles movies, which I am sure we will examine in another video, to The Lion King and Jumanji, we see the result of doing something purely for profit, because these remakes cannot hold a candle to the original. I am not denigrating anyone's hard work, because I know what it takes to put a movie together, even if it is a reboot. But you will always be fighting an uphill losing battle when you try and take something so novel and beloved and try to remake it without the same intentions behind it, setting yourself up for defeat, whatever your reasons for making the film. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I brought back some good memories, because I know I got lost in nostalgia making this. It all seems very simple. Just put together an original idea, do not care about what people think, and tell it in a way that concentrates more on character development than a rushed agenda to try and cram as much in as possible for profit. If there is ever a remake of Heavyweights, it will kill my soul. Create your own original ideas. Do not try to swap and tarnish beloved characters who shaped the lives of a whole generation, because you want a quick lift, because you know people will go see it. That is what it seems like to me, a quick cash grab on the name alone, with bells and whistles, with little to no charm or thought. I would rather watch a show or a movie with absolutely no special effects or outdated special effects than watch something where I am pandered to. Shows like B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata is a perfect example of this. I have probably seen these episodes 1,000 times each since I was a child watching with my grandmother, and it is in a completely different language. And I can still watch these episodes to pump me up for my day. The amount of hardship it probably took to organically create those war scenes in the 80s, with real people, real elephants, it blows the mind, when today we would just use CGI. This is the respect due, the honor I feel watching things like this, because I do not care how old something is. Age means absolutely nothing to me, because art lives forever, and if it touches your life in some way, who cares when it was done? It goes to show what amazing characters, enchanting music, and overall authentic effort can do to make your works immortal. I just want to go back to a time where nobody cares what the main character's sexuality or race is, and have it thrown in my face with gratuitous cringe scenes, just to pander to certain audiences. When we see this happen, we see a departure from amazing storytelling to the world of shallow characters and a poorly produced product, straying from the source material, like what happened with Season 3 of The Witcher. Just killed me inside. So the next time your favorite childhood movie or show gets rebooted, make sure to yell at the screen, "You're killing me, Smalls."